let's talk about La Palma and the coming tsunami and how it is coded and how it is connected to Back to the Future and the death of the Pope, who died aged 88. Now in the film Back to the Future, when the car hits 88 miles per hour, that's when you have the serious shit. SS, duality, 88, duality, and the dog travels through time. The dog in the middle of the car by itself travels in the DeLorean car, and the dog is a symbol of Isis. So Isis is the pineal gland. It is the synthesis of the dialectic, the synthesis of the three. So you have the black and white duality. Out of that you get the synthesis, you get enlightenment, you get Isis, you get Lucifer. The Freemasons believe a higher intelligence has been behind the ascent of man through man's pineal gland. This goes all the way back to ancient Egypt and even before, and the same power structure is in charge today, and it has come through the world's religions, in secret. Now watch my previous video, but I'll go through it a bit more. I talked about the dog code, how the dog represents Isis. You have a dog in Back to the Future. The Canary Islands is called Island of the Dog, Canis. It's obviously named after the dog star by the Romans. The dog star is Sirius, which is Isis, which is the alchemical synthesis of the three. How you can spot Freemasons on the internet and Freemasonic stories. They have the same letter in the name, starting the name, and then the second part of the name, like Bushcraft Bear, BB, Duality, Hulk Hogan, Sylvester Stallone, Trump's tariffs. You will see how this pops up in nearly so many news stories, and it's showing you that this is Freemasonry. It is much more simple than Gematria. Freemasons communicate with each other in a much more simple way. Yes, with the 33, and yes, they do use Gematria, but there's a simpler way. The most prominent numbers are 33 and 3, and 22, 11, 11, okay? But the most simplest way is this letter, the double letter, BB. And if you see this, it's likely they are a Freemason, okay? Like Bushcraft Bear. Another symbol is the dog. Now, not everybody with a dog is a Freemason, but when they show off the dog, and so you have Bushcraft Bear, who brought you news of the Canary Islands, the island of the dogs. And the patron saint of the Canary Islands is a Black Madonna, which is Isis, okay? The Black Madonna is Isis. And you see him in every video, this Freemason, walking his dog. A dog on the island named after the island of the dogs. Who let the dogs out? The collapse of La Palma will be one of these events which bring in the New Age. It is a cleansing event. As 9/11 was a satanic ritual which started all this modern time. And so you have Hulk Hogan, 88, Back to the Future, serious shit. The Pope dies aged 88. Duality, okay? Now the Pope died on the 21st of April, which was the founding of Rome by Romulus and Remus, RR, the twins, duality. And they were brought up by a she-wolf. A wolf is the same as a dog, the same species, Canis. So it shows you that Rome was created through an alchemical ritual of duality and synthesis. And so this same cult and religion has been throughout time. And we can see this through the monuments like obelisks. So we have Ozzy Osbourne, OO, and his final concert, he looked like the guy in the 2012 Olympics, and a figure called Death holding a needle. So he looked like this guy in the 2012 Olympics. The 2012 Olympics was dedicated to William Shakespeare and The Tempest, and it had a ritual about the NHS, and the stadium looked like a crown bug full of pyramids with all-seeing eyes. It was a ritual for the crown bug. So we have Ozzy Osbourne, OO. It was based on Shakespeare. The opening ceremony. The first man to get the William Shakespeare was called William Shakespeare. The Tsar was from Stratford-upon-Avon, Shakespeare country. Trump is based on Julius Caesar. Now we'll see this 1111 code all the time, which is the 22. If you times 1111 and you keep increasing that, you get a pyramid. And on November 11th, 1622 is when you had the landing of the Pilgrim Fathers in America, which was seen as the creation of America. So November 11th, another 9/11. Remember, 9/11 was 7/11. And so if we look at this drawing by Hoxley, we see that the palm is the resurrected phoenix, and the capstone is Isis, and Isis gives birth to the new sun in the New Age, which is the all-seeing eye in man's head. Canine, which is 11/9, 9/11, with a dog. Somebody wrote a book, and this book was about a dog who died in 9/11 rescuing people, and it happened to be called, the dog happened to be called Sirius, Isis. Remember, you have duality and you have synthesis. In front of the Twin Towers you have the Statue of Liberty, which is a symbol of Isis. You have the Twin Towers, you have alchemy, then you have the Lone Tower, the One Tower, you have Building 7 go down. 7, September 11th was actually 7/11, 7/11 is the star, the six-sided star with the G in the middle of the Freemasons. 7, illumination, an alchemical ritual of synthesis. Then you have the dog in the car. Here we have Who Let the Dogs Out, the video, which is about La Palma. You have the two palm trees. La Palma is the palm. You have the dog in the middle, synthesis, which is Isis. Then you have the Black Madonna, which is the patron saint of the whole of the Canarians. And in La Palma you have the depiction of St. Michael, and St. Michael is connected to St. George. And St. George, you had Shakespeare, who was born and died on St. George's Day. Shakespeare was written by the Rosicrucians. St. George, he slays the dragon, so the Palma event will be like a cleansing event. Here we have the goddess Isis with the two arms. She gives birth to the new age, the sun. She's known as the dog star. You see the two arms of the DeLorean car with the dog in the middle. When you went to 88, serious shit. Predicts 9/11, the film. Twin Pines Mall, the twin pines is the pineal gland. The lone pine is the synthesis, Isis. And you see on the clock when it says Lone Pine Mall, you have 331, which is the star with the 7 with the G in the middle of Freemasonry. We had the dog on top of the pyramid, the Great Pyramid, the 3. So the Great Pyramid, you had a dog on it. Isis, this was a ritual. You have the 3 pyramids. It's showing you that the great work is near at hand. The new age is nearly here. Now, let's talk about the prophecy of Fatima, because you had 3 girls. Again, you had the 3. You had the apparition of a virgin in the sky, Isis, which is also associated with the Virgin Mary, as we have the Black Madonna. And you had 3 secrets, you had 3 people, and you had the synthesis of the Virgin Mary or some kind of apparitions. People say it was UFO connected, and it gave 3 secrets. Now on La Palma, when the eruption happened on Cumbre Vieja, remember the earthquake swarm was on 9/11, erupted on the 19th, a week later, and then the Queen was buried on the day of the eruption a year later, Cumbre Vieja, Old Peak. This is connected to Prince William. When William is king, this event will happen just before he's king. It's connected to the star Corona Borealis. It still hasn't gone off yet. The crown, okay? Now when you had the eruption in La Palma, a monument of Fatima was spared. The lava actually went around the statue of Fatima. Again, you can see how the Fatima story, with its Isis representation, and it's also its trinity, the 3 girls, the 3 secrets, the synthesis of the 3, and given to them by a goddess, which is Isis, which is represented as the Virgin Mary. Thank you.